More San Jose action on a Thursday at 4:25 Pacific time. It's California taking on our hometown team, UNLV Runnin Rebels. UNLV laying 2. The total sitting at 131 as we speak. Marco, it's a free play for you coming up in just a bit. A rare opening round rematch of a regular season non-conference game here as UNLV beat Cal up in Berkeley 76-75 back in early December. A little bit different from these two teams. First of all, you had Anthony Bennett, you had Dejon Jones, who combined for 47 points in that one. The rest of the team went 10 for 33 from the field in that contest against Cal. So those two are on. If they're not, then they don't come home a winner. I have to think that California is a much better team now than they were in the first week or two of December. At the same time, not so sure you can say that about UNLV on the offensive end, but they do have Kim Birch now, who makes them better on defense.
See, I think both teams are better now. I think UNLV is playing better ball at the end of the season than they were at the beginning of the season. This is one of those famous 5-12 matchups that everybody knows every year. One of the 5 seeds generally goes down, and I think this is going to be the fashionable play for Thursday. People are going to be looking at California and expecting them to be the one to upset a 5 seed. UNLV, I think, caught a break in catching a team like California. California is not a physical team that's going to take you down low and play a half-court game. Those are the teams that gave UNLV the most trouble, and Cal's not that. I think UNLV will be able to play an up-tempo game, which is going to help UNLV, something they haven't been able to do a lot this year, and that'll also help eliminate one of their half-court problems. When they play a slow game, it seems Reinhardt feels that he's got to shoot a 3 every time when the shot clock's running out and they don't get a good shot. And if they're playing a transition game, that's not going to happen.
We'll get back to you in just a moment for your free pick. Ken, I was going to mention that, what Marco's kind of hit on already. When you watch a UNLV game, it can be really frustrating. If they are backed into a half-court game at both ends of the floor, especially in the offensive end, they're in trouble. But when the young guy like Reinhardt starts nailing a 3 or 2, even when he doesn't, he could be 0 for 5 and he's still shooting 3s. And you don't see the coaching coming in as far as the big D, discipline coming into these guys, sitting them down, talking to them a little bit, pulling them out of the game. What's your feeling on this? I mean, UNLV, as far as I was concerned, Air Force playing without Lions for, 19 minutes of that game. I should say 39 minutes of that game, 19 minutes first half and the entire second half. They didn't have that player who can create his own shot. So UNLV didn't get Air Force at their best. Yeah, UNLV played a really good game in that contest, but there was a point of that game where Air Force started to make a comeback. Nobody talks about it. It was a 7 or 8 point game, and you had UNLV bombing away from area code 3, and nobody calls a timeout to say, guys, let's work it inside to Bennett. Your thoughts on this game?
That's a good point. And also, Brookhouse missed the whole second half for Air Force, too, so they were really limited, no doubt. And then UNLV caught another break when Dorian Green's playing basically at half strength. Right. He gave that ankle a go, and it didn't work out. He ended up going down again. So they have to play better team ball, Scott and Marco. I mean, to me, they do. They settle for the 3 too often. Yeah. And I know Bennett's got unlimited range. He's got a great inside-outside game. But let's go inside first and then pop outside when they're not looking, when you have wide-open shots. I mean, to me, it's a team on paper. You talk about Ken Birch, and he's been big defensively. But on paper, UNLV's as good as anybody. I mean, you just look at the athletes and the athleticism. And Roxy Bernstein, my buddy that calls Cal, he's in his 17th year, he said, Ken, nobody has played better on Cobbs than Anthony Marshall defensively. That was huge. And, of course, Quintrell, right place, right time, gave him that win. And how big was that non-conference win for them? As you started looking, if they didn't do so well in the conference tournament, you're starting to look, wondering, hey, are they going to be a 9 seed, 10 seed? Who knows if they're going to get in? Because they floundered down the stretch. 2 losses to Fresno shows they're vulnerable. You got your connection as far as Cal's concerned. A lot of connections, by the way, as far as coaches when it comes to the Pac-12 and interviewing them on your radio show. When it comes to Crab, we saw him get pushed by Mike Montgomery, the whole controversial issue that was going on. After that game, Crab comes out, and it was terrific for a couple of games. His last 3 or 4 games, though, his shot's been off a little bit. Yeah, he pouted, about 8-10 minutes after that happened. Right. And then he got things going and actually ignited Cal to a comeback win in that game. And he said Montgomery was right. I was playing. I was lackadaisical. I definitely wasn't focused on the game. And that's all Montgomery wanted to do was get him refocused. That is Montgomery. He is a passionate guy. I mean, a lot of people don't realize he played his college ball at Long Beach State. Right. You know who his coach was? Lute Olson. So he's had that inside him for a long time. I love Mike Montgomery. So I like Cal. I mean, he's just, and I've got my ties to Roxy, but of course I'll root for UNLV. But I think it's a dynamite game. And when we saw saw the bracket come out, first thing I said, wow, finally, UNLV, close to home. We're going to pack that place. Next thing you see the matchup is Cal. You're in trouble.
I'm like you, though, man. I'm old school basketball and football. I maybe not go overboard like a Frank Kush grabbing you by your face mask, but I don't mind a coach getting in your face a little bit, and that's what we saw out of Montgomery. And as you said, that's where he came from. That's who he is. Marco, Cal and UNLV laying 2. This one is your free pick.
All right, I said it in the previous video. I'm going to say it again. I'm not thrilled with the Pac-12, so I'm either going to have egg on my face or I'm going to look smart. I'm going to go with UNLV here, and it's because of the styles. I don't think California is capable of putting UNLV in the style of basketball that UNLV doesn't like. I think this will be a faster-paced game, and that goes right into UNLV's hands. I think they get this game done. I know they beat them earlier. Cal's got the revenge, but both teams are playing better ball later in the season. These teams learn to grow and get rid of those early mistakes. Don't forget, UNLV had, a lot of freshmen and had transfers. This was a situation. This team's better now. I like UNLV here. I think we're getting the benefit of the line because of the Pac-12. People thinking it's a better conference than it is, and that 5-12 setup with the seeding. We're going to go with UNLV. I have them winning by 5 or more.
You trying to kid with this? If I lose, eggs on your face, whether you win or lose, man. I get tweets and texts from this guy Saturday afternoons talking about, look at the buns on that. And he's actually talking about the buns on the tray. Egg on his face. Anyway, Marco's best bet, or free pick, I should say, is to take UNLV minus the couple of points. When we come back, Ken Thomson's going to give us his free play on the matchup between Mizzou and Colorado State. Stick around for more.